कि आपने कभी ऐसे इंसान से मिलने का सोचा है जो कश्मीर में रेल बना चुका हो और जिनेवा के पॉलिसी समिट में अपना विजन डॉक्यूमेंट रख चुका हो? From constructing bridges on the battlefield to building billion-dollar strategies for global governments, he's worn a soldier's uniform and sat in Harvard classrooms. Colonel Dr. Naresh Bana, PPP expert, global advisor और एक फौजी जो कभी रुकता नहीं। आज के टिप्सी एपिसोड में आप मिलेंगे उनसे जो बोर्ड से बोर्डरूम तक का सफर जीत चुके हैं। रेडी? चलिए शुरू करते हैं। Morning, Col Bana, sir. Very hearty welcome to Tipsy Mondays here. It's a real pleasure and a delight and a dream come true for me to have you on my show this Monday on TipsyTalks.
Thank you, Tipsy. It's a pleasure and privilege to be at your show.
Sir, I know you're my compatriot, a couple of years senior to me in the Indian Army, and you had it going wonderfully well for you, sir. What is the one defining moment from your army journey that still guides you today, sir, in whatever you're doing in the corporate world?
Tipsy, if I look back, it was the experience during Operation Parakram, consequent to the Pakistan-supported terrorist attack on our parliament on 13 December 2001. I was then the brigade major of an engineer brigade in Western sector.
Right, sir.
Within few days, we mobilized on our western borders and we had to provide combat engineer support to a formation poised to undertake operations deep inside Pakistan.
Right.
That included humongous planning and coordination between multitude of engineer resources, from mine clearing to track laying, from bridging to nuclear, biological, chemical protection teams. This experience was unprecedented, and there was so much of learning in almost combat conditions that it became a habit to plan, coordinate, and effectively control anything and everything which came my way thereafter. You know that in service we plan for success and success alone, as there are no runners up in war. And that has been my mantra since I have been successful with all my assignments since then, with God's grace.
Excellent, sir. So your profile today speaks for your die-hard attitude and the grit and resolution and the great determination with which you attempt everything and anything and everything in your life. Hats off to you. So we'll move on from there to another interesting project that you were involved in, the USBRL. The Udhampur-Srinagar Baramulla rail link, which was recently inaugurated by our worthy Prime Minister, which now can be truly stated as the pride of the nation and a technical marvel for all Indians here. So, and we're really proud of it, and we're proud of your contribution to the nation in this particular project. Now, can you share your experience of managing the Kashmir rail project, sir, especially the scale and the project, and any worthwhile incident that you can share with the audience here?
Yes, surely. Because Kashmir Rail Project, which is part of the broader USBRL you mentioned, stands as a watershed assignment in my life journey. You would recollect in 2004, 2 engineers were beheaded by the terrorists and project work came to a standstill.
Yes.
So in 2005, Railways reached out to Army and I also volunteered to take on the assignment. And I joined duties in March 2006.
Right.
In addition to my civil engineering responsibilities, I was to handle the coordination with all security agencies and state administration. I had to motivate my engineers who had stopped going to the sites despite having security guards or security officers provided to them. Now, you see, I reached in March 2006. And April 2006, we were sitting in a conference in Srinagar, right opposite stadium.
Right.
We had our office and the bell rings. An engineer is calling from Beach Behra that, sir, I am stuck behind a abutment of a bridge and my PSO has been killed. And there's a crossfire going on between security forces, CRPF and army and terrorists.
Okay.
So This was just within 1.5, 2 months, right? And then I comforted him and marked his position clearly and coordinated with the security forces so that he doesn't get injured in crossfire.
Right.
And then I embarked on extricating him from there. And in next 2 hours, he was safely out of that zone while the encounter continued. So, and this was not one such instance. We, on technical side, we had a lot of challenges, and the biggest challenge on technical side at that time was getting a tamping machine from Jammu.
Okay.
Like this tamping machine is required for tamping the ballast
Right.
before that can be opened for service. And the road was not opened by BRO. And we were running short of time because the inauguration date was fixed. So I was approached when the railway engineer said that we will have our own time and this thing. So the CMD said, "Can you take it on?" And I said, "Yes, we'll." I went to, and we planned it out in a typical combat engineer way, and we ensured that it, because the criticality was this was the only machine in the Northern Railway that time, and had it fallen down into the river, we wouldn't have had a replacement for months together.
Absolutely.
Now, and having got that successfully, we had to then take on the load testing of a bridge which was being tested or tried for the first time in Kashmir Valley. That is a composite girder bridge on a curve.
Right, sir.
And that to be in a place which was otherwise a terrorist infested area,
Okay, sir.
where our engineers were not being allowed access easily. So I interacted with the locals and we built up a good rapport, for which there is another story. So the end result was our engineers were thereafter welcomed day and night, and within 15 days, which was required for this kind of exercise, because the entire load had to be loaded physically on that bridge, and the settlements have to be recorded by the meters. Yes, that was and that was in December
Okay, sir.
in 2007.
All right.
And you would also be happy to know that though I was not too happy when somebody, a working contractor, walked up in the middle of the night in January 2008
Okay.
and he brought along a guest, and he soon introduced that guest to be a brother of that famous terrorist Sayyid Salahuddin. And I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
And the fellow tells me that this guy has brought a message from across that his brother wants to surrender. I said, "How do I know he is brother of so and so?" And because this thing which struck me, that now ISI is also knowing that I am here,
Yeah.
right? So, but I had a job cut out. I was for the project. I had nothing to do with any security operations or anything. So I told him, "See, my job is very clear, but still, if you are interested, get foolproof proof that yes, he is brother of so and so," because I wanted him to go somehow from there. So then I just ensured that he leaves without any commitment from me.
So,
And then we also had things like rescuing our engineers from Baramulla and Anantnag in 2008,
right, sir.
when there was a big movement of sending people, outside people away. So we planned it so meticulously without involving openly the security forces that on 2008, 16th August, there was a rally in Srinagar, and we planned that there will be two teams, one towards Baramulla, one at Anantnag, because the engineers were to be extricated from there to Srinagar.
Right, sir.
And Baramulla side, I went myself. And so aim was that while after the rally, when these people go towards Baramulla and Anantnag, so our teams will follow them, and in the wake of those people, we'll reach. And as they go into the city of Anantnag or Baramulla and get into their evening namaz, that is the time the roads will be empty, and we will take up our engineers and get back to Srinagar.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
So,
So now you have seen that area
So,
It took me more than 4 hours from Srinagar to Baramulla.
oh,
Right. And many places, especially I would recollect the Patan experience where the multitude of people all around, we were surrounded. My Scorpio, people were jumping on top and shouting slogans. And I had a local contractor who was earlier a terrorist, but he had surrendered. So he was working as a contractor. So he was listening. So, but I was very scared that I had taken this risk. And if this mob lynches me, people will ask me, why did you take that risk? But we had a project. We had to do it. It was a national project.
absolutely.
So many times I had put my life to risk on that. And then the most technical risk came when the project was to be inaugurated in 2008. In 2008, on 7th October, I was in Delhi
So,
when I was informed that project is to be inaugurated on 10th and you rush back.
okay, sir.
Prime Minister is coming. So the moment the news leaked out that Prime Minister is coming, there was a Bandh call given in the valley.
Right, sir.
And it happened those days.
Right.
So I reached back and found out that the date is now 11th. But we had to make 5 helipads of 75-meter dia
Okay.
and 1.5 kilometer of fresh road.
Okay, sir.
And the Bandh call was given. Entire thing has to be decorated and things. So all my contractors, because of the, you can say, leadership or my interaction with them, they performed so well that all these things were done to the satisfaction of security forces, Prime Minister's security group. And let me tell you that for the decoration flowers, we got them from Bangkok.
Oh,
Right.
really, sir?
So, but everything was done perfectly within 4 days' time. And that set a huge standards. And I was not only earlier a go-to man for the railways in that project, my image further got a fillip.
Solid.
So that
Excellent.
is,
Excellent, sir. Sir, I've always known you and admired you for your tactfulness and your resourcefulness, and of course, never give up attitude that you have. But these stories are, so wonderful in themselves. They're extremely thrilling, and I would also like to mention here, once since you mentioned that कि कौन पूछेगा कि ऐसा करने की क्या जरूरत थी. So there is a very thin line between foolishness and being a brave guy and being brave in a situation like that. And I think the tough guys in us all will always take the brave front rather than being foolish. So well done there, sir. No, from there I come on to the next question, sir. When things were going so well for you in the uniform, what drove you to transit from the army into a large-scale infrastructure and PPP work? And also, please explain to us what is this PPP?
okay. See, the exposure in Kashmir Rail project gave me the confidence that there can be much more which can be done in this life. I had completed my MBA and postgraduate diploma in construction management from NICMAR, and my quest to do something significant in life appeared to me that I can do it outside army better and more. So I got the opportunity to be the planning head of a large highway construction company in North India, having that time more than $1 billion of highway construction portfolio, and many of them in PPP mode.
Okay.
PPP is public-private partnership.
Right.
When you develop infrastructure facilities which are otherwise a public monopoly, then the private party is invited, and they put in their managerial skills, the funding and the operational risks they take, and that's how the infrastructure gets developed.
Right.
So, yeah. And there I honed up my PPP skills and also my project management software planning skills, because I had also studied prior to that the MS Project and Primavera.
Right.
And you will be happy to note that we prepared a project plan in Microsoft Project in 2009-10, which had 10,000 activities, and Microsoft people came and commended us for that. It was for Kishangarh Byawar road project, where we we captured every meter of progress.
Excellent.
Right. So that was the detail. That is the granularity of this plan. And then I also got opportunity to work on special projects like ICTT, that is container terminal at Cochin, called ICTT Valarpadam NH47
Right.
C. And we used prefabricated vertical band drains for draining out the weak and soft soils.
Right.
So you can imagine a road on which a traffic is running and water is being taken care through the longitudinal drains, which is coming from actually from the lower portions of that soil, right? And how those drains were inserted, and that was our job, our project's part. And then in 2010 February, I also went to Harvard Business School.
Okay.
And for a executive study in strategic financing.
Excellent.
The company was nice, and they helped me with that. And there I got further confidence that yes, because it was for non-finance people. So there were most people, I was the only one from India, and there were many people from other countries where we were learning, and I developed more confidence. Right. And then it led to my consultancy being started in 2011 March.
Okay. Progress has been the mantra of your journey thus far. And when I went through your profile, it was very heartening to know that you worked with diverse entities, sir. I will just name a couple of them: Sri Lanka Housing Development Authority, Das Group of, that is DAS Group of USA, Jindal Saw, Oman government, and even the Myanmar embassy. So what has been the most challenging yet fulfilling project, sir, so far in your career? And how did your civil leadership role differ from your command role in the Indian Army?
That's very interesting. You see, my first engagement after I started my consultancy was with the Sri Lankans, the Sri Lankan National Housing Development Authority.
Right.
And through our contacts, we got introduced, and we were allotted a 45 acres of land in the location called Hantana near Kandy in the central Sri Lanka.
Right.
Right. Where we were to plan a public-private partnership-based mixed-use township. Now, we did a lot of planning and all, but somehow the project got stuck. Okay. And we incurred a lot of losses there. But that was also precursor to a lot of good things. Now, that could be, we'll discuss later. But right. As far as the Jindals you mentioned, we had a good opportunity to work for them in Myanmar, okay, where we advised them the entire project prospecting advisory for 1,000 megawatt dual fuel thermal power project, right, to be set up in Yangon. And but the most fulfilling of those was, out of all these assignments till date, has been the construction of 100 houses for the earthquake affected people in Nepal, funded by Oman government. Okay, sir. And complexity was that this was in Lalitpur district, which is not far from Kathmandu, but these were all hills. These were a cluster of about 15-20 villages where these beneficiaries' houses were to be built. Right. In many places, there was no approach road, and the construction material had to go headloads. Okay. And we had a time limit of 1 year, right, which was done and nicely done, and we got commendation from the Oman government for that. Excellent. So, and I think we generally, more or less, whatever task came our way, we undertook it with full passion and delivered it to the satisfaction of our clients.
Excellent, sir. As I just span across your profile, sir, you've been almost, your footprint spans the entire Earth today, from Geneva to Nepal and Harvard to Oman. What core message do you carry when you are advising governments? I also read, and I know that you presented a vision document in Geneva. So what is the core message you carry with you when you're advising such, high-flying governments and officials? So, as I mentioned, PPP is an effective format, right, for delivering capital-intensive, long gestation projects. Actually, it is a managerial challenge. Right, sir. And I advise the stakeholders to review the policy structure,
legal framework, and create an enabling atmosphere for PPP to thrive.
Right.
It can unlock huge potential of any country provided it is deployed transparently, operated meticulously,
Right.
controlled ruthlessly, and adjudicated quickly. So this is about in sum total, what I discussed with the stakeholders.
Right. Right.
As regards Geneva is concerned, I was heading the project team on standards for railway PPPs.
Right.
And this policy paper was published in November 2018 by the UNECE at Geneva,
Okay.
which has gone to all the member countries.
Right.
And certainly my name is there.
No, definitely, sir. And there'll be many more such documents which will bear your name and your name in the lead, sir. That's what we wish for. Sir, your PhD research focused on the Swiss challenge approach. No, this is not because of your affinity and love for the country. Could you please tell us what exactly is this and why is it important for Indian rural infrastructure?
See, the Swiss challenge approach is a format for procuring a PPP project or any other tendering process.
Right.
So, Swiss challenge approach is slightly different in the sense that here there is a unsolicited proposal,
Okay, sir.
and that unsolicited proposal is treated using the Swiss challenge approach.
Right.
Okay, because unsolicited proposals could be leading to there could be corruption involved, there could be anything, you see. So that's why price discovery may not happen.
Right.
So Swiss challenge approach in India has been acknowledged by the highest court as a useful and legal way of procuring and price discovery.
Right, sir.
Okay, so that is about Swiss challenge approach. Here the mechanism is that the unsolicited proposal will be taken up
Right, sir.
and kept to a side. Based on that, the bids will be prepared
Okay.
and issued. But this person who deposited that unsolicited proposal will not be bidding that time.
Okay.
So, but the bids which come out, the lowest bid or the preferred bid would be offered to this first person as a right of first refusal.
Right.
Either you match it or leave it, so that the price discovery part takes place. He cannot make a unnecessary benefit out of it.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So this is in very brief, very layman's term, which I have explained to you. And I feel that this could be a very useful method
Okay.
for developing our infrastructure, and especially tier 2, tier 3 or municipal, sub-municipal or village level infrastructure.
Right.
Because
Right.
today what's happening are metropolitan cities are developing like anything. But the infrastructure in hinterland is not developing at the same pace. In fact, if you allow me to recollect the famous book by our former RBI governor, Bimal Jalan, published in 2005, Future of India.
Correct.
He has mentioned that the irony of our democracy is that most of the funds for development of infrastructure go to the places where they are least required.
Right.
So this is one way which I have argued in my thesis, that PPP with Swiss challenge approach could unleash the infrastructure development in Indian tier 2, tier 3 and other rural areas.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Sir, the one has known you writing extensively for various global fora, sir. What motivates your thought leadership?
As far as thought leadership is concerned, my overseas exposure has allowed me insight into how the infrastructure planning and financing is addressed in various geographies. In one of my articles published by World Bank in 2023, I highlighted the ingredients essential for a successful PPP bidding process. Very simply, I just highlighted 3 things there.
Right.
And I always focus and have it in my mind to create local solutions, simple solutions, and doable solutions.
Right.
In 2024, I have written how Sri Lanka can raise funds for the infrastructure development without approaching IMF, ADB, and World Bank.
Okay, sir.
They can actually engage with regional economies who are likely to have better appetite for funding the infrastructure in Sri Lanka because they are their neighbors.
Right.
And thus, the bonds issued by Sri Lanka may get better response. I have argued that such funding is likely to have leaner risk profile and while cementing ties between the regional corporates and funding institutions. And recently, in the current month, I have published an article in Hindu Business Line where I have tried to offer a solution, a PPP-based solution to revive tourism in Kashmir after the Pahalgam terrorist attack.
That'll be very interesting, sir. I think we'll have to have another episode to discuss that, in entirety. Sir, what's one idea or value you would try to instill when mentoring the young professionals who are trying to walk in your footsteps and aspiring to be someday at the place where you are today, sir?
I have a very simple and short point to make.
Sir.
That is, there is no substitute to detailed research and an elaborate planning.
Right, sir.
Examine the subject from as many angles as possible and you will be successful.
Excellent, sir. Sir, so far, you covered all the essentials of a journey thus far. And we come now to a very interesting round called Tipsy's 10, where I'm going to shoot 10 rapid fire questions at you, sir. And I would expect very small, brief, and to the point answers in return. Are we ready, sir?
Yeah.
All right. So first one coming away, sir. PPP in one line.
Unlocking managerial, finance, and risk-taking potential of a private entity to develop public infrastructure.
Excellent, sir. Combat or consultancy? What do you prefer?
Both. Because combat planning made me ready to offer successful consultancy.
All right. So possibly it is consultancy wearing a combat dress. That's right, sir? All right. The next one, sir. Srinagar Rail or Geneva Boardroom? Please pick one.
Srinagar Rail any day.
All right. A contract negotiation you will never forget.
I had an opportunity to negotiate a diamond mine participation contract in Namibia in 2016 September.
Right, sir. Okay. So we will get to know the details. Well, given me a little cue, but I'll have to come back to you with another episodes. One person you would love to debate PPPs with?
Our own government of India.
It's a good answer. All right, so the next one, your go-to stress buster today.
Finding a PPP-based solution to an infrastructure challenge.
Excellent. Infrastructure or influence? What excites you more?
Of course, infrastructure.
What's the one leadership hack that always works?
Lead from the front.
All right, sir. The most underrated country for PPP potential?
Our own country, India.
All right. And the last one, sir. What does legacy mean to you today?
To me, legacy is the lasting impact we leave behind on our youth. Not just an achievement, but how we shaped others' lives, values, and communities.
Excellent. So with that, sir, we come to the end of our journey here today. Of course, you have given me a couple of cues to get you back on the show again, sir, and the audience would love to hear about a couple of more such exciting issues that you are dealing with, your life experience, the various stops, and the various points of excitement in your journey thus far. If there is one single message that you would like to leave the audience with today, sir, what would that be?
Okay. I would like to say integrity-based entrepreneurial practice.
Right, sir.
Create credibility. That's it.
You're as brief as you're detailed in your approach, sir, and I really, really appreciate that. I've known you through my life to be a very diligent, hardworking, and a go-getter, sir. And the kind of work that you're doing in this sector, in the infrastructure development sector, and the way you are pushing PPP approach in various countries, and especially giving it a huge push, a huge impetus in our own country, I think you yourself are leaving a legacy behind you, sir. And I, on behalf of the audience, would like to wish you many, many more milestones in the future to come, sir. And we would love to have you on our show once again, discussing various aspects of infrastructure development in tier 2, tier 3 cities, especially Northeast, the entire region, and Jammu and Kashmir, sir. So thank you very much, sir. Jai Hind, sir. And that brings me to 3 essential takeaways for all of us. Number 1, फौज सिर्फ एक करियर नहीं होता, वो एक माइंडसेट होता है जो आपको हर फील्ड में एक्सेल करना सिखाता है, चाहे वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो या इंटरनेशनल पॉलिसी. नंबर 2, पीपीपी यानी पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप. इट्स नॉट जस्ट अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, ये एक लॉन्ग टर्म विजन होता है जिसमें पब्लिक गुड और प्राइवेट एक्सपर्टीज दोनों का मेल होता है. एंड नंबर 3, रीइन्वेंशन इज अ चॉइस. और कर्नल बाना जैसे लोग दिखाते हैं कि एक सोल्जर की जर्नी बोर्डरूम तक जा सकती है विद स्ट्रैटेजी, पर्पस और सेवा भाव. एक फौजी जो सिर्फ सरहदों तक सीमित नहीं रहा, बल्कि दुनिया के हर कोने में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और पॉलिसी के जरिए अपनी छाप छोड़ गया. फ्रॉम नेपाल्स क्वेक हिट होम्स टू ओमान्स पोर्ट्स टू इंडियाज फ्यूचर पॉलिसी मेकर्स, कर्नल बाना is a living blueprint of purpose-led impact. ये सिर्फ एक कॉन्वर्सेशन नहीं थी, ये थी एक मास्टर क्लास ऑन रीइन्वेंशन, रेजिलियंस एंड रियल लीडरशिप. ऐसे ही और सच्चे और इंस्पायरिंग कॉन्वर्सेशंस के लिए जॉइन अस एवरी मंडे. तब तक स्टे रियल, स्टे क्यूरियस एंड अ वी बिट टिप्सी. और हमेशा याद रखिए, दिस इज टिप्सी मंडेज, नॉट योर रेगुलर ज्ञान शो. जय हिंद.